Welcome, everybody. Today I'm joined once again by Stefan Surratt. You may know him as the co-host from the Goodman Games Twitch show Rules as Written, as well as the creator of Elfland Beyond the Fields You Know, among several other things now at this point. You started doing quite a few
Yeah,
Kickstarters in the last while.
trying. Yeah,
Yeah, welcome
uh,
again, man. It's been it's been
not too
crazy.
long, I guess,
No,
but
no, when was the last Kickstarter? Because it wasn't that long
uh,
ago.
it was like 3 or 4 months ago. Let me see. I think I like started. I started it in January, and then it like crept into like the first week of Zine month in February. But then yeah, about I started it about 4 months ago, and I don't know, probably delivered a month and a half ago on all that stuff. But you write something and you kind of feel like it's done, and I don't got no reason to sit on it any longer. So
Yeah, no, I think that's
yeah,
great. I think we should just get right into it because I'm actually very
yeah,
interested to hear about because I you sent me a bunch of PDFs of stuff you're working on. So let's just talk about the first one, the Technomancer of Candy Mountain, which is firstly a fantastic name, but just tell me about it.
yeah. That one is a really fun one. I ran another playtest of it like five days ago now. Dating for the future. That was North Texas RPG Con. So one of the few conventions I managed to get a go to. Um, and that was a bunch of fun. It is you create an adventure like this by rewatching Adventure Time and thinking about the Candy Kingdom a lot. And then on your commute to work, you listen to the audiobook of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You keep on rewatching Adventure Time because there's a lot of it. You listen to The Wizard of Oz, and somewhere in between there, you listen some like classic, folk country music, and you sing Big Rock Candy Mountain by Burl Ives. And you mash all that together and make a joke on Discord about um, Willy Wonka and him kidnapping all the ladies in a herd of cow animals because he needs that milk for that milk chocolate. And you just kind of let the ideas flow and write a few thousand words, about 10 of them in the end, and you get this adventure.
That's amazing. That is so many influences. Like when I was skimming through it, obviously the Charlie Chocolate Factory came through immediately
Yeah,
and
that one
everything.
comes through real strong.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting. It's you're getting a track for like doing stuff like you have like the Winnie the Pooh one and you have like the Beauty and the Beast one. So it's like you're taking like a lot of these classic sort of tales and you're kind of like redoing them in MCC and DCC.
Yeah, this one, it had to be much more legally distinct in this. So our
Yeah.
villain was a wilder, and all the little short people of that are strangely colored are the Oompies. But we also have the Sweeties, who are the candy people, and I wrote up a special candy people class for them. They get a small amount of mutations, but they also can only glow burn their intelligence score. So can't do the normal three physical things. They get dumber every time you want to do a real good mutation. But they also get basically kind of a thief luck die.
Amazing.
That's
So
their cute. It's their cuteness die. They just
yeah.
whenever you weren't gonna make it, oh, it's so cute. You did it anyway. We're so proud.
That's really good. So is that like a new class that you made for
Hmm.
MCC? That's like because I saw that like in the back of the book there. That's great. Um,
So
yeah, I do like that. I could see many of my players that I know would definitely enjoy role playing their character getting stupider as as they glow burn more.
yeah, and I started sticking the candy people in there, and they weren't. I didn't have that ready like the first playtest, but pretty quickly people were like, "I want to be a candy person. I want to be a little jawbreaker. I want to be a donut. I want to be like a little milkshake lad." And I was like, "All right, the people demand.
Yeah.
This sounds pretty fun too."
No, that sounds really fun. Um, as for is it well, I think it's what a third level adventure I believe.
It's a third level, and I've mostly run it as one shots, and it's we got this candy mountain, there's traders coming down, they trade their barrels of candies, and there's some awful suspicious things going on up there. The PCs go up there, or maybe you've had like you can enter in if you had a PC die, and you can say, here, play a candy person, and they're going to come down from the mountain and tell you it's not all as good as it seems up there. We've let Willy Wonka was a
Oh,
wilder
yeah,
loose,
yeah.
and he's got no laws and no regulations. He is like the super just next level capitalist in the libertarian place, and every single time I run this adventure, all of my players become socialists. They're always
That's
like, let's
amazing.
seize the mean that we gotta seize the means of the candy production. Let's
Oh,
start a
that's perfect.
revolution. I in the last playtests, one of the players, their mutant, had illusion generation as a power, and they're like, I remember some old book, and they literally they summoned illusory Karl Marx to
Oh
choke
my
out
god.
the
That's
the
so
super
good.
capitalist. That was a part of the climax.
That's amazing. I love that. Yeah,
So
I remember seeing a few things with like the little what are the little creatures called, the workers in your game, the
the
umpies.
umpies.
Umpies, yeah. Where, I think there was stuff about them like striking or like unionizing or something in there
Yeah,
or
there's some random encounters. There's some random tables to make it so that like yeah, there's a whole Candy Mountain up here. There's like a veil in the mountain. You can go explore and do stuff in the forest. You can hang out in the town, and there's like a little resistance. You got to know the passphrase to get in. Um, People love getting into the resistance. I mean,
yeah.
who doesn't want to be the underdog?
No,
So yeah,
absolutely. No,
and
that sounds amazing.
a lot of how they're treated is straight up like how just terrible working conditions that is also mostly inspired by a lot of it from the Slurm episode of Futurama,
Oh, that's
uh,
funny.
where what their legally distinct,
Yeah.
can factory guy says like they think they have a good union, but they're practically slaves, and it's like that's the direction I went in.
Yeah, no, that sounds perfect. That sounds very 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 funny. Would you say that like this adventure is more on like the whimsical end, or would you say it goes into like horror at all, or is it more like because it feels
No,
like it's so like over the top that like it's just going to be
yeah,
a silly
I've
ride.
done some, yeah, I've done some things that are definitely like more horror tinted.
Yeah,
But this one is a lot more silly and
yeah.
fun for sure. I mean there's a little bit of like horror there, maybe we have a Dr. Slagverth who runs the medical facility. And you got to go get your medical checkups if you want to work at the factory. So there's like a little bit of like, oh no, that is really terrible areas, but it's like 90% very, very goofy, very
Yeah,
fun times.
no, that's cool. There was actually an MCC funnel I grabbed years and years ago, and I was just on a kick of just grabbing it. When you could just buy a bunch of RPG stuff that you'll
Hmm.
probably never get it to run. One of them, I can't remember what's called now. It's on my shelf somewhere. Where it was a funnel where you go like into an old like giant mall, like it's like an old like either like a mall or like a toy store,
Hmm.
and there's like a holographic thing, and there's lots of like little toy creatures and characters. And I feel like that would fit well, at least not in the
I
same scenario, but of the same world. It feels like it goes into the same kind
I
of.
haven't played it, but I think there's one called like something goes to Toyland, and it's like
Yeah.
that's I think it was like a little based off the Isle of what misshapen toys a little bit,
Oh, okay.
but they
Yeah.
said it from like the Rankin Bass movies.
Yeah.
I remember skimming it like years ago, yeah, it was set in a mall. That sounds like it, but I haven't played that one.
Yeah. There's one. Yeah, I think you're right. Something Toyland. But yeah, I just thought it's giving the same sort of vibes, that sort of silliness, but also that weird kind of mixture of the
Hmm.
MCC post-apocalypse stuff with it. So that sounds very very interesting. Um. Yeah, is there anything else you wanted to say on that one? Is there anything else that you think is because there was a
Um,
lot in there when I was going
yeah,
through.
it's a big event. Yeah, it's when layouts, maybe there'll be a few stretch goals to make it a little bit longer, but as it sits with like stretch goals would be like some candy weather events and hey, some candy equipment, stuff like that to just add some more fun,
More
flavor to your
candy stuff.
region.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as it sits now, it's 32 pages. So it's a pretty freaking big adventure. Most of the like
Yeah.
official Goodman Games ones, they're like 16 to
Yep.
24. So this is one where like if you send them to that, dungeon, the candy factory, it can totally be a one shot, but you want to take your time. Like that's 2 or 3 sessions for sure.
Yeah, I thought when I was going through, I was like, yeah, this is on the thicker, and I find most of those thicker DCC ones or the Goodman Games ones tend to be around that size. So, yeah, no, that one sounds really cool. I'm gonna be very excited to try that one out. Um,
Yeah.
And just like your last Kickstarter, you have a few other things that you're doing as well. So I guess we'll move on to the next one, which is
Yeah.
Marvels of the Multiverse. Does that one have any connection to Mysteries of the Multiverse, which is what you had 2 Kickstarters ago?
Loosely, I mean, they're all just like, all right, I'm doing another MCC zine. Let's look at the Google Doc that has 20 words that start with the letter M, and pick which one that I think is most interesting right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that one, it has a cool little funnel in it, that is called the Millennials Awaken. You're a millennial because you've been like a cryo frozen genetic experiment clone thing that has, of course, mutated in just the same ways that everyone else on Terra AD has mutated, or maybe not. It's like it would be a choice star crawl
Yeah.
funnel if you want to do that, but it's meant to be like a 2 hour long funnel. So it's like I wanted to do that because 4 hours is really long sometimes, especially if you want to like
Mm-hmm.
go, try to convince some people, hey, try out this brand new thing. I need you to spend 4 hours. Like
Yeah.
2 hours is way more acceptable for trying something new.
Yeah. I
So
completely
it's a,
agree.
but these cryoclones, you've been in a spaceship for 1,000 years at least, just being deliberately exposed to cosmic radiation just to see what'll happen. And you're headed back to Earth because the AI on the ship is like, all right, that's enough radiation. That's the programmed amount. You're about to get back to Earth. Space squid attacks. You crash land on the fragments of the broken moon that the people of Mutant Crawl Classics, they'll look up in the sky and be like, oh, the Sky Arc. Um, so you crash land on a little bit of moon, and it is like make a luck check right at the beginning. Did you make your luck check? You have a bubble helmet. You have more air than everyone else. You failed your luck check. You have very little air. The 2 hour time limit is an in-game time limit. That's when your oxygen runs out.
Oh,
Get
that's
get to
fun.
Earth.
I like that a lot. That's great. And
Uh,
also sounds very, very borderline Lords of the Fliesy with some players, depending on who might want some
there,
supplies.
it's usually like, my guy with the bubble helmet died. Oh no, guess this is mine
Yeah, yeah, I guess
now.
it's my helmet now. Yeah, which is classic funnel. You always gotta consolidate all the stuff that gets left behind.
Absolutely. So and then it's like a quick little like point crawl of jump from, do your moon big long jump over to this other, floating asteroid basically, and get over to that space elevator that's of course like at the furthest end of the map. And encounter all these weird things on the way that, and you know, smite spoilers. When you get to that space elevator, perhaps it's been such a long time, it's not functioning just quite right. So a few things you found along the way will help out, and you're
Mm.
gonna find at least one of those options. And if you somehow avoid picking up anything at all, you can still try to talk or fight your way out of the situation and
No,
get down to earth.
that sounds really cool. What was there any sort of inspiration for that, or did you just have the idea one time and just start building from there?
It actually started out as like a thing I ran one night as a Purple Planet adventure where I was running Purple Planet stuff for my home campaign. I was reading through all those books. I'm like, but I can't fit all of this into like the sessions I got for my home campaign. I'm doing this random thing online that I signed up for, not having any real plan
Mm.
about what I was gonna run. And I just like picked out a bunch of things to try to like highlight cool parts of the Purple Planet. So that happened, and I twisted it around to make it MCC because in the end I was like forcing a lot of things where it's like, yeah, I'm using that like cool monster, um, but all these things jammed into here don't make a whole lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a lot more sense in MCC, and a whole lot of it got changed. But that's how it originally started, just trying to highlight a bunch of stuff. And that's what I tried to do with MCC too, just like highlight a bunch of weird stuff with the system.
Yeah, cool. That's awesome. Is there anything else we can find in
Yeah.
the Marvels of the Multiverse?
I put a bunch more stuff in there as well. So that's like the funnel at the beginning. And for that, like one of the things that I think is good to point out, like the Technomancer came out, that's like a 10,000 word adventure. It can be multiple sessions. This like 2 hour funnel is like just a little bit over 2,000 words, which for like some context to DCC fans, Portal Under the Stars, that funnel is about like
Okay.
3,300 words or something. So it's like text size, 2/3 the size of that. It doesn't run that long, but it's not gonna take you hardly any time to read either.
Which I think is really
So,
good. My home group, because we're all so busy these days, but we still want to make time to play. We've now started doing every 2 weeks. We do 2 hour sessions, pretty much 2 to 3 hours. Where we used to do like
mhm.
4 to 8 hour sessions weekly, but we just
Yeah,
those are the things that we just can't really do anymore with everything
uh,
else we're doing. But so having
adult
2 hour session stuff is nice.
responsibilities.
Yeah, no, but it also honestly, it turns out once you start playing RPGs more, you can actually fit way more than you'd think in 2 hours if you just like sit down and like you guys chat for a bit and then you just get to playing. You can actually get quite a
Yeah.
bit done in just 2 hours, which is great. So I think,
Yeah, I used to do the more of those like whole Saturday
yeah,
is
exactly.
D&D. But yeah, it's half that time is like BSing about memes you saw and
Yeah,
going out to grab food and stuff, all sorts of
yeah,
things like that.
absolutely. Yeah, no, those I still like to do those every once in a while, but they're very rare these days to ever do those long ass days. Yeah.
Yeah. But the more stuff in Marvels of the multiverse, I see people complain online. They're like, I don't like how I don't quite like the classes in MCC as much. And I was trying to, I I created a class in here, in this, and then also in the Candy Mountain, but not everyone wants to do that. So I looked at the Benisons and Dooms from Lankmar,
Mm-hmm.
and I MCCified them.
Ooh.
Um, so some of them are going to be, they work the same way. And how you get them, do some random rolls, and you'll see how you want to work that into your backstory. But so some are like you're hunted by the gene police because they're like you have the special bloodline and we need genetic purity. And they really want to get you an experiment on your biology. And some are going to be like, you really suck at using weapons. Yeah, like -1 to artifact stuff. And but then the good ones are going to be like, there's one that kind of lets you do act like a halfling, do some dual attacks. There's one that'll give you like a deed because there's no good way to actually get a mighty deed
Yeah.
in MCC. There's other ones that'll make like artifact checks or AI recognitions rolls easier, or maybe give you like a mutation that you can use with a D14 or
Yeah.
something like that. So I try to add in some really cool ways to like customize your characters in there too.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's great. I do love the Lankmar Benson's Nooms just because it can also add to the role playing aspects quite a bit and just sort of differentiate
Hmm.
different creatures. Also, just cause massive issues. When I ran a Lankmar campaign, the amount of dooms they had basically just put a few of them in debt where they were already in debt from like the carousing tables from the stuff they were doing.
Oh
So it's
yeah.
just caused to just piling up of different issues that created all these little side adventures that were super fun. So I think that's pretty great to do.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, those dooms do not, and the benisons don't have to be there at the start. Your players can try to earn those
Mm-hmm.
somehow, or that those can be rewards for crazy adventures.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me see what else. I put in mutation duels because I realized I was like, hey, DCC has spell duels,
Mm,
but that's not anywhere in MCC. So I tried to simplify it a little bit.
yeah,
I definitely simplified it a little bit. I don't know if it's going to be simplified enough for some people because it is a little bit more fiddly of one of the aspects of Dungeon Crawl Classics. But I
yeah,
put that in there.
yeah.
Um,
I should really finally
yeah,
use spell duels someday and just actually just try them out finally because I have never ever even attempted to use them after reading the
it's
rules.
it's a good time. I did me and Matt Grape Ape, we did like an episode of rules as written on the Goodman Games Twitch. There was just like an hour of talking about spell duels and doing spell duels. So
Oh,
for
perfect. I'll put that in the show
if
notes.
yeah, if you're like I don't even know how to do it, like go watch that. It'll
Perfect.
take a while, and it it was certainly the longest spell duel I've been a part of, but that was also because we were doing a lot of like, all right, are we doing this correct?
Yeah.
Let's make sure we're doing the rules. So there's like
Yeah,
conversations
when you're
going there
explaining and
too.
conversing, yeah, it's going to take longer.
Yeah.
I will say I won't go to the next thing just yet, but I will say spell duels will actually probably be pretty good for the next thing we're going to talk about, which I could
They'll
actually
probably
maybe.
happen a lot.
Yeah, actually, I think that'd be perfect for that.
Um, well, there's only one more thing in the Marvels of the Multiverse, and that's it'll be like a 36 page long zine, so like great zine length. And it's a goofy class called the Jungle Juice Drinker, um, which is mechanically you're using a deed die that increases as you level to make like weird potions out of things you kill. So
Oh.
it's going to be a lot of like work with the judge. It can be a weird mushroom over there. It can be the monster you killed. You're going to be drinking some microchip salsa if you're making it from robots, whatever you're doing. So it's just like, and there's some example, concoctions in there of just like how you do this. But there's a lot of work with the judge. The inspiration came from do you do you remember about 5 years ago when over in Egypt they found some sarcophaguses, like some construction workers were doing it, and they're like, "What's?" And people were like, "What's the red juice coming out of their sarcophaguses? We want to drink the sarcophagus juice." That's the inspiration for it. Me just being like, in like 5,000 years, there's gonna be weirdos going, "I want to drink that juice."
That's amazing. That's such a good inspiration for that. That's hilarious. And also, I mean, slight spoilers for Mysteries of the Multiverse with that funnel in there, but I can see that character class working pretty well in that with the concession stand because there's a few different
Yeah,
literal actual food creatures and stuff. So
absolutely would. Yes.
that's
That was
amazing.
like it wasn't like the inspiration, but in the back of my mind, I was like, hey, wait a second, this is working out great. I should have put this in the last one.
Yeah.
I didn't have it ready then, but I should have
Yeah.
put it in the last one.
That's a fantastic class. That sounds like a lot of fun. So does that's everything for Marvels in the
Hmm.
Multiverse, yeah. All
Yeah,
these
that's
M's.
all the MCC stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll say I got like some killer cover art for Technomancer and Marvels.
Yeah.
Marvels, same guy's done the previous MCC zines of mine. Technomancer, I got Ed Bigford to do it. He's done a lot of work with Levi Combs on like the Phylactery magazine
Oh,
or
nice.
zines. And like while he was doing it, I was like, "Hey man, are you gonna like have it ready soon? It's been a little while. Like it wasn't like late or anything, but I was just like, I want to see the thing.
Yeah.
It looks cool. The work in progress is great. I want to see like I want those colors though. You do great color work." And he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll have it ready soon. I'm doing some work for a project for Dark Horse Comics." And I was like, "That's really dope."
Oh, no
So
way. That's awesome.
so he is. I love his use of colors. He does such really good work at
Yeah.
Bickford.
Yeah, I'll be having the covers pop up on screen so people can see them in their full glory. They look so far they've looked really really cool.
Yeah,
I like that one a lot. And yeah, in terms of colors, there's definitely lots of colors.
absolutely.
Awesome.
But yeah, the next thing you're curious about, and the next thing is actually my like a little semi-secret project I've been working on for a while. Not secret anymore though. But it's like the first stretch goal, and so it's not necessarily guaranteed, but I'm very confident we'll get
Hmm.
there. And if we do, everyone will get Academia Arcana RPG is my beta test title for it.
Hmm. No, I think it's a good title for it. Yeah, no, because I knew it the first two, and then when I saw that PDF you sent me just to look through, and I was like, "What is
Mhm.
this?" And then I started going through. I was like, "Oh my god, this is actually so awesome." So my home group would absolutely be down to play it. So yeah, why don't you tell me about it?
Yeah, so it's wizard school genre dungeon crawl
Yeah.
classics. The class that you are is the academic wizard. You have no like limit to how many spells you can know, but you start by learning spells at a D14, whatever spell it is. And you're only gonna get that die 14 to be a D16 and then a D20 by rolling max on the die. So it's something that you're going to get. And if that's just not happening, there's a system in there for, if you do good on your finals, you can, choose a spell or maybe two and get them, a little bit better on the action die. But, um, but yeah, so there's a couple cool ways to do it. And yeah, it's go around this wizard school. You're in a pocket dimension. The character creation is different a little bit than DCC. You're still
Hmm.
doing like your 3d6, you're rolling all the same dice, but it's your occupation is mostly what's different, and then your birth augur. So
Yeah.
you're gonna get different items because you're gonna roll like some dice at the beginning, and it'll say, "Oh, before school I was a anarchist street urchin, so
Yeah.
I have some pamphlet literature pertaining to that, and now I'm a band nerd." So
Yeah.
now I've got like some a silver instrument, which will give me a bonus on like music checks, and maybe having silver in some instances will be pretty handy.
Yeah, that
And my
table
first
just looks so
magical
cool.
yeah,
Sorry, no,
my
go.
first magical mishap was I learned about magic, learned out I had some innate ability because I was like cursed by a warlock, or there's some dragons, or there's a D24 table of like how that, and people in the playtest have been loving that,
Yeah.
because it's like it gives them so much to work with for what is my character like.
Yeah, that both those things looking, because like I saw like Black Magic Goth that gets like a demonic book and stuff, like I was like, as
Mm-hmm.
soon as I saw that, I could already see players getting so excited just rolling and seeing what they're getting with that sort of stuff, and just
Mm-hmm.
having a crazy character in front of them. And also the DCC magic works so perfectly for this genre of like the sort of wizard school thing. So that all seemed super super cool. Yeah, and you
So
have
I
a
mean, you're
lot in
rolling a
here too.
D14. Yeah, I packed it. That is 76 pages. I got more. I wrote like I put that together, and then I was like, well, if I do a big release, and that's my goal, like polish it up. If you're back in this Kickstarter, I know you're interested in DCC stuff, so that's why I'm at least initially just releasing it through some Kickstarters, because I know it's not just going to be like something a person downloads and doesn't actually care about at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, my hope is to like get it out. People can beta test it, give me feedback. I'll be writing more adventures and polishing it up, and I've written like 7 more spells that aren't in there.
Oh, that's
Um,
so
and
cool.
and so have some big release. I don't know if it'll be like a big book, or if we'll be like, here's the player's zine and the judge's zine, or if I'll do like a big hardcover. That remains to be seen. But yeah, I've had a bunch of fun doing that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think as least as a start, firstly, it's a huge start with the amount of stuff that's in here, just looking at the table of contents. But yeah, no, I'm super interested. I told my friend about it, just like when I was looking through today, and he was like, "Screw out Rules Without Number campaign coming up. Let's do this." And I was like, "Well, it's not out just yet. We'll see how things go. Then we'll."
Oh,
So I'm
oh,
definitely interested in it.
good, good. Yeah, and it's 76 because there's the class, and there's like a make minder potion spell, because if you're doing a wizard school thing, you got to be able to make some potions at level 1, and
Absolutely.
but they're not as good as the make potion spell that's already in
Yeah.
DCC. That one spell takes up a ton of page space. Um, but then there's like I put in carousing and laying low, because you're gonna get in trouble at
Yeah.
school, and you're gonna want to keep your head
Absolutely. You should
down.
be at least, right?
Um, I hope you are. I put in like a bunch of random tables that are like kind of similar to like how the Linkmar district tables are in that DCC book. And there's stuff, the halls, the classrooms, the creepy topiary garden, the dark forest, all sorts of stuff. And I've
Yeah.
I've got more written, but it's in various states of polish.
Yeah, and
And
I
then
saw
there's a
stuff
little
with like the
adventure back.
covens and
Yeah.
stuff. The covens thing seemed interesting, where it's kind of like the like the houses. I'm assuming sort of similar to that.
Kind of, yeah. And so people will be thinking like Harry Potter. I've never even read any of those
No,
books.
looking
I
through it, I
saw
was like,
like
this is
2
just
of
the
the movies in
genre.
theater.
Yeah,
It's just the genre. I'm
yeah.
stealing the first like wizard. The first thing I ever read that had any kind of wizard school was the Wheel of Time books
Oh,
that had
okay.
the Aes Sedai, the ladies only wizard school. So I'm grabbing stuff from that. I'm grabbing stuff from like The Magicians, that book and TV show. I'm grabbing stuff from Teen Titans, because like they're superheroes, but it's basically like a little
Yeah,
coven or house or something, and they're
yeah.
learning how to use their powers better. So it's yeah, I'm trying to be inspired from all sorts of
No, I
places.
think that's good because when I was reading through, like I wasn't getting like, oh, this is like a Harry Potter kind of ripoff in DCC at all. I was
Ah,
getting just the genre, and yeah, no, that stuff's all very cool. And also, I see that at the end there's also an adventure near
mm-hmm.
the end of it.
Yeah, I've got some outlines for more adventures, like 4 or 5 more, but there's one in there. It's called The Night of the Were-Wizard. And it's a fun little adventure. I've had it get very violent. I've had it last time I ran it, there was no combat whatsoever. There one character took 1 point of damage because they answered poorly on a quiz and had a like subdual magic missile thrown at them. Um, but there's no combat. It was all just like people being like trying to uncover the mystery of who stole the professor's book called The Shaping of Flesh, so that they could, get a better grade in class. That was
That
their
is
motivation.
fun. That's great. No, I this is getting me really excited to play this sort of thing. Because
So,
I all whenever I'm reading this, I'm just seeing all my friends who I know want to play this. So I'm just like, yeah, this is right up
um,
my alley. Um, yeah, no, that's super cool. Is there anything else you wanted to say about that one?
I'll yeah, I'll say the adventure isn't quite. There's like a part of it that's written more like your typical DCC adventure, but how it's actually set up is like here's a D10 thing of clues that you can place wherever you want. Here's like 5 characters. They'll probably be in a place like this, but you can place them wherever you want. Here's like 5 different scenes. And there's some rules in there for like how to run an investigation that's more loose. That's a section of the book. And if people are familiar with Brindlewood Bay, I'm definitely cribbing some of the like gameplay style from that. And that's a game
Mm-hmm.
where you, for folks who don't know, you basically do a group of murder she wrote ladies, and you're all old widows, and you're just trying to solve murders in your quaint little New England town. So the adventure style is kind of written like that,
Yeah,
because uh, any like if you look at any kind of wizard school genre story, it is like at least 50% what is the mystery? We need to uncover the mystery, and then like a final confrontation at the end. But it's like so much just investigation that
yeah,
so that it's like, yeah, you're all wizards and you're weak, and at the beginning you're not very good at casting spells, unless you're like spell burning or using your luck. And there's like I put a youthful luck thing in there, which is, Linkmar, you get stuff by doing stuff in genre. And similar, if you think of like wizard school stuff or teen comedy stuff, you're going to
yeah.
get some, youthful luck. So use that, get your spells better, but spend some fun time uncovering the mystery. That's what
Yeah.
60 to 70% of the different adventures I'm outlining, that's what they're all going to be.
Well, and I think with genre, that's like with that genre, that's a lot of those things anyway. Is investigations. Those adventures tend to be investigating into random things or looking for things or that sort of stuff. So I think that
Mm-hmm.
that totally fits. And yeah, if anybody does have more interest in Brittlewood Bay, the creator is one of the hosts for Fear of a Black Dragon podcast, and I think they do a
Great.
few episodes on it there. So if anybody's interested, that's probably like the best place to go to for that.
Yeah,
Um,
Jason Cordova. He's
yeah,
he's got a mess of podcasts and a
yeah,
whole bunch of stuff he's published too.
yeah. They
Yeah,
have like a
he's
whole
he's
like RPG network podcast
that's
thing
the
going.
Gauntlet Network.
Yeah, exactly. They have a whole thing. Yeah.
So
No, that's super awesome. I wanted to ask you though, just because this Kickstarter for just a one man project for the most part with and you have a full time job and family and everything else. I was just curious, like I'm sure some people are interested in how you actually what's your process kind of thing, but like how do you get so much work done? Because it's this is insane.
uh you answer emails in between your meetings at work. When you have inspiration to write, you try to see if your wife can manage your toddler for like an extra hour that day, because you're like, babe, I'm really inspired. You know what this means? I'm gonna spend an hour and I'm gonna get like 1,000 words out at least. And sometimes like I've been crazy busy recently. I've got like my I only have this here because I was actually using it, but like my Dungeon 23. So I try to write a little bit every single day. I'm having to play catch up a little bit because I
Yeah.
don't I don't always do that, but you try to write every day. You're not gonna, you're not gonna make stuff if you worry about like
Hmm.
doing it fast enough, or anything like that. Supposedly, even George R. R. Martin's making progress out there. So try to write every day, folks. We can be at least that good and that quick if you do that.
Yeah, no, it's this is super impressive. I think the other question I just want to ask is because like congratulations on your last Kickstarter. That one was awesome. I got
Yeah,
all that stuff and there was so much in there. Um, is there anything that you learned from that one? Because that was your biggest Kickstarter so far, right? By like a
it
pretty big
was.
margin, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It was like twice as big as my second biggest. This one I think it'll definitely be smaller because there's like less folks that are a fan of MCC than
Mm-hmm.
DCC. So like I'm looking at the follower numbers. The follower numbers before I launched the last one, was like around 220. My follower numbers right now is around 100 on this, and I launch in a few days. So it won't be as big, and that's okay. I had an awesome time
Yeah.
writing the stuff, and I love running, especially Technomancer Candy Mountain, because it's like a big sandbox and player. The funnel is great, but it's focused. The stuff ends up pretty similar every time. But yeah, the
Yeah.
Technomancer is a big wide adventure. So I love seeing all the different things that the players do every time, even though
Hmm.
they just always become socialists in the end,
Yeah, yeah,
every
that's
time. but
that's where they
but
always
the
lead you.
route is
Yeah,
different.
yeah. No, that's great. Well, and also I think like because I'm also obviously more of a DCC fan than MCC, but even with
Hmm.
the last one, the Mysteries of the Multiverse, there's still stuff that I found very interesting. And I also think I'm noticing sort of some pushback lately on classic fantasy stuff. I'm seeing more people talking about doing different genres and RPGs and everything because everything's
Hmm.
so oversaturated with fantasy. So, even stuff, even if it's not MCC, all these books are still gonna be useful for totally different stuff, like Gamma World type stuff, if people are going into
Yeah.
other sort of things. So, I'm sure there'll probably still be growth like in that sense over time with that. But yeah.
Well, and if you get like if you have a real like planar traveling, whether you're
Mm,
doing some kind of spell jammer or you're doing some kind of interstellar thing, if you can rip just about any module, especially if they've got a bit of a science fantasy or science fiction tinge to them. So the Technomancer Candy Mountain, that can you would turn that nonsense to the candy world or the candy mines in
yeah.
outer space or something like that. So yeah, you can move the dial of flavor just one notch to the other side, and suddenly it's really applicable. A candy factory might be hard to put in a straight fantasy. I couldn't give good advice on how to do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
for
I'm
a lot of
sure
other things,
there's
it'll
some
work.
creative people out there. I'm sure they'll figure it out. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I have for you today. Because there was so much coming out with this Kickstarter. Especially, I hope you get the first Kickstarter goal because I really do. I'm really
Yeah,
interested in that the Academia Arcana RPG. That
I,
one.
I I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
we will.
I have faith in you.
Yeah, I didn't make it that much more than the original goal, because I'm just like, people are gonna want this. But let's put it in there. Hopefully it'll help out a little bit of bump. And yeah, that one, everyone. I mean, if you're like, I don't care about MCC, but I want that wizard school nonsense, be back for $1. You'll get it.
There you
I'm
go.
gonna give that to everyone.
Yeah. So, when's the what's the Kickstarter date? When does it come out?
The 13th, 10 a.m. Central, so quite soon.
Perfect. Yeah, this will probably come out the day before in the next few
Mhm,
days at some point. But yeah, that's perfect. Yeah,
mhm.
that's real close.
Yep.
But
And I
yeah,
do have a day one deal again. If you back on day one, there'll be a patch. I'm doing that again. You can get, last time I had this patch.
yeah,
This time it's a patch that says OSR in the middle, and it says no WotC, no masters.
yes. Which I
Um,
want that.
and there's some other stuff. I have like another patch that I'm doing. I put up a couple T-shirts. One T-shirt that says the same thing as that patch, and another that has um, a reference to an old meme of a very kind of happy cat that would be on a T-shirt and says like "Born to Die," but mine is like of a gong fern. It says "Born to Reeve." Um, Loot 'em all 1997. Balance is a lie, and it's like I forget the number. It was like 3 billion dead beastmen. Uh,
That's
so
perfect. Oh, I love
a
that. Yeah.
fun T-shirt for folks who need another one in their collection.
That's amazing. Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to the patch as well because I told my community in the Discord that like when I get to 10,000 subscribers, I'm gonna be getting a jean poncho to just put all my RPG things onto. So I'm collecting all the patches I can get right now and just putting them all in a
Perfect.
pile for that day. But awesome. Thank you so much, Stefan. It was great talking with you again. I'm looking forward to this Kickstarter. And I'm looking forward to, I guess, I don't know, the next Kickstarter after that, whatever that one will come out, because I'm sure
Well, we'll see.
I can put the
It
pressure
might
on
be
you
a
right
weird
now.
frontier. It might be a weird frontiers thing. It
Ooh.
might be another DCC thing. I've got it just kind of depends what I feel like is ready. But
Yeah.
I've got some things. I got some irons in the fire.
Yeah, I still have not taken the Weird Frontiers delve yet. I've wanted to, but the I need to get one of my friends in the U.S. to send it to me because the shipping right now. I think the
Okay.
book's like 50 USD, and then with the shipping, I think it came
Yeah.
around to like
Well,
200.
on drive through,
Yeah.
they have POD
Oh, they
options
do have it.
now.
Okay,
So and
sweet.
and it splits the basically the player section, the judges section. So you get two thick books instead of one mega
I
thick
might
book.
actually prefer that just for usability, honestly, because I do love the gigantic book, but at the same time, in terms of
Mhm.
usability, that one looks like a bit of a
I've
pain.
I've got my own copy from the Kickstarter, but I've thought about like picking up an extra players
Yeah,
thing just to take to cons because it's like that'll save my back
yeah,
on those days.
yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ben, and I'll catch you next time.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Until then.